Episode 2, Kojay and 44.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going, everybody? Hope you ate your Kellogg's.
And your Wheaties, we're going to talk about what? The siege of the blue check marks.
Among other things. Who really
Uh,
knows where all this will go, really?
yeah, we're just having a wonderful, beautiful conversation. There is this guy. I don't know if he's a blogger, journalist, whatever. I think he had a cute little blue check mark next to his name. But I I just saw that he just poked around, said something that would like offend someone who loves BVS or the Snyder Cut so much, saying something like, "Well, it's not finished" or something like that, one of those buttons that they push.
Yeah.
And obviously people were speaking their mind, saying, "Yeah, but this and this," and it looked like the person just kept fighting with them on it. Almost like I was wondering if they were actually curious about it at all, other than to egg us on or something like that. And then their final thought would be something to demean or some demeaning statement about the movement as a whole, just
Oh,
by
yeah.
arguing with like three people.
These people are trolls, man. That's all. They don't really. You, like, I stopped giving people so much benefit of the doubt because I'm a firm believer that the people that care and want to do their homework are going to do it, and the people that just want to troll and just want to bother, you feel me, people that care about the Snyder Cut and everything, you feel me, pretty much to get the rise out of them for laughs, fun, whatever, whatever. But we are definitely past the point of whether this exists or not. We're past the point of whether it's complete or not. We're even past the point of whether it's kind of is coming or not.
Mm.
So at this point, the only option they have left is to troll. Because before they had more leverage to troll when these questions weren't answered.
This
But
is
now
true.
since it's started so far down the line, they're just doing relentless trolling. You feel what I mean? And like that doesn't even have any standing at all. That's why you're asking yourself like, why are they doing this? Why does it matter? Does it even make any sense? Of course, it doesn't make any sense because they're just doing it just to do it. Like agents of chaos, as Joker said.
Mm.
And even that comes down to the Superman thing where all these check marks and coming out who probably never know they got paid or someone gave them the tip to be like, oh, this is the day where we're gonna go bitch about Superman again.
How did
And,
that start? There was
we're gonna
some
we're gonna
was it some
we're
statement
gonna
by
whine
Warner
about
Brothers?
Christopher Reeves. It started with the I guess an article about Superman being irrelevant, and
Yeah, that one.
I'm not really gonna say which article it was. I don't really care, and to be honest, I don't know either. So I'm also hiding a little bit of my ignorance there,
But it
but I
also
really
sounds
don't.
like a dumb topic, anyways. I kind of don't want to.
Yeah,
If I
exactly. I
said
actually don't
so and
care,
so said this, I feel like I'm kind of
but
putting them on the spot. That feels bad.
yeah,
It's like insulting them.
so yeah, but I guess it got it got gatekeepers all riled up, and we're like, hold on, we got this, we're the gatekeepers, so we know how Superman should be, and that them doing that kind of got the real Superman fans mad when and the real Superman fans are like, yo, what the fuck, like. Here you are, you guys throwing Superman under the bus and saying he's not relevant in the modern age, and we have all these awesome Superman movies that came out, you know, like all this, and it's going back to the same thing where now people are even realizing even more. It's like, you know what? If it wasn't for people like you just always complaining about all this stuff, we probably would have still been getting more Superman films with Cavill. You feel me? JL2, JL3, the
We could
arc
have been on our
probably would have
fifth
been
film
wrapped
with
arc.
Cavill.
Yeah, and you ruined it just to complain and to be speculators pretty much, and that's pretty much that's where it's at now. And I feel a lot of hardcore Superman fans for feeling that way because it really must be annoying, you know, compared to even being a Batman fan and other fans of other things, other characters there's not too many characters, DC characters that have their own films yet, but still, comparatively to Batman and Superman, it's like you can at this point you can just fucking like people are you can put Robert Pattinson and Adam West's old outfit, literally, old sweat and all, and don't even gotta watch it, and nobody will care. They'll just go with it like word Batman. This is the new Batman. They won't even. It's like you can just do anything you want. You know what I mean? You don't even. He doesn't even have to be Batman. You can just call him Batman. He doesn't even have to wear the suit anymore. He can just be Bruce Wayne all day, every day, and he can fight crime as Bruce Wayne too, and people will just go with it. Let's be honest. Like Batman, they've had so many interpretations of him that I bet in some sense I don't want to put a rivalry in the sense of Batman versus Superman fans, but I bet Superman fans do get fucking annoyed by that shit. That it's like, damn, Batman gets all these interpretations, live action, and then we get stuck with all the gatekeepers that want to keep everything like Christopher Reeves.
And then Superman
Like,
can't breathe. Superman can't grow.
and then they're trying to say that we want the character to do this and do that and do this, and they're talking about things that Snyder already did in his films, and they shitted on it and ruined it for everyone else, so that makes him even more mad. So
Oh, I feel that.
because I'm sure that there was a lot of Superman film fans that were hoping that they would be able to get these films out under the radar without even really it really making too much noise in a certain sense. I don't mean like being popular, but you know how sometimes franchises starts and films just start coming and they just happen. It just happens. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like they could have easily just kept going. Could have just been Man of Steel, BBS, JL, JL2, JL3, and that's it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And then can people arguably say that there wouldn't have been a lot of people that wouldn't have been happy with that and enjoy that and taking that home and been like, yeah, these films are dope. I like them. I'm fucking with them.
Right.
Great. I'm glad that they did this. So hell yeah, there would have been. Are you talking about a Superman arc that leads up from him being Superman, becoming Superman, and goes straight into the Justice League, you know, and he faces Darkseid? Who wouldn't? What DC fan wouldn't want that and add that to their collection? And I bet it does make
And what a better
a
journey
lot.
for becoming Superman than to go through such feats.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to tell you, it does make. Now that's why I'm sticking on Superman specifically, because it does probably make Superman fans annoyed as fuck, like mad as fuck that they were so close to like so many great Superman moments, and they got a few. We got a few, we got a Snyder even still gave us a few very good Superman moments. You feel me? That we've only seen in the comics, and in Man of Steel and BVS, and people were definitely a lot of people probably wanted more of that. And the fact that they're not getting that, and then they see all these people saying like, well, they should have did this and we should have did that, and not only is some of it not better than what's, it's either like, oh, they should have just went back to the Reeves stuff, or they should have just did what Snyder did. But I'm not gonna give Snyder credit.
No, they don't want to. They want the credit for themselves. Now I'm also wondering if all this
Unfortunately,
Superman stuff started out of some kind of someone trying to take. It's either two things. I feel it feels like maybe some corporate stew just wants to get touch, wants to just feel the
you know what?
waters out of what people want, or people are trying to capitalize on the fact that um, so many people came out to speak about release the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut. Everyone was pro it, but Henry Cavill was kind of like playing it safe, and I wonder if people are taking advantage of that with the character on that aspect alone.
I think people have been taking advantage of the Superman character for a while, and
Mm.
I think it comes down to what a lot of people don't even want to say in the modern age when it comes to Superman and the certain superhero characters and DC characters, but specifically Superman. We kind of already had the conversation about Batman, which is a different conversation, but it's still its own truth. Is that there's a segment of Superman fans that grew up with the Reeves Superman films, and also the people that were indoctrinated on it. That want Superman to remain the American ideal and the American symbol of a character that he was back then in those films.
Mm.
And why this is a problem is that never was ever the main Superman ever. Like that iteration of Superman, even though it popped at that time, it brought a lot of happiness to people at that time. That Superman was first of all geared towards a there's a totally different demographic based on the day. I'll just say straight up, it was geared towards white people, and not only that, it was geared towards the whitest of white people.
Yeah, it was.
Now, people can try to pretend and dance around that to this day,
I'm a
but it's
huge
clearly
Superman
obvious.
fan, but I
Yeah, you
ain't gonna
can
lie.
clearly obvious. You watch those Superman films. That was the demographic. The demographics
Mm.
was when they looked at the demographics both behind the scene, put like who are we gonna push this movie to? On the PowerPoint, a loaf of white bread came up.
Mm-hmm. And
That's it.
the only
And
like
Mr. Rogers
person.
was standing behind it. Like we're gonna push it to this guy and guys like him. You feel what I mean?
Oh
And
man.
people have to understand that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and behind that is that they weren't selling Superman the character or Superman the comic character, I should say, the champion of the oppressed. They were selling Superman the American symbol, the American ideal. You feel me? Of what you feel me? You know, the average man, or you feel me? People are what they believe society should be. You feel what I mean? People should be extra upstanding and all this other shit, whatever, whatever. But that really had nothing to do with what Superman originally was, or even still is to this day. Now, there's people who are holding on to that because it's even in a sense a form of patriotism when it comes to these type of Superman fans, because it's like they're fighting for it in a sense, like they're holding on to, like I said, in a like an ideal. You feel what I mean? Like the idea of what Superman should be, this ideal. You feel what I mean? Because that's what Christopher Reeve Superman literally was. That's why he has no flaws or anything. He's literally like made to be the epitome of the most upstanding fucking man ever. And it becomes a problem when you have regular comic book fans that like Superman, or even casual fans that like Superman, or maybe that was in the end that like the animations. You feel me? And they, as Jay Oliver, like famously said, you know what I mean, that they want to see Superman unhinged. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they want to see the Superman that they grew up reading in the comics, that I grew up reading in the comics, that they grew up watching in the cartoons. You feel me? That I grew up watching in the cartoons, not the Superman that they grew up watching in the movies. They don't want that Superman anymore because we already had that Superman that's cool and everything. People want to move past that, and you can even say that people asking for Brainiac in the Superman movie is kind of in a way representative of that without people even knowing it. People asking for, oh, I want a Superman movie with Brainiac in it is pretty much saying that I want to see the next step of a Superman movie. I want the next one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to see more Superman movies. I'm ready to see Superman do more things.
Hell yeah, I'm
Because
ready
it's
for
like the
that.
fact that you have to think about the fact that we haven't even hit Brainiac. And maybe Snyder wasn't even going to do Brainiac 2, because Brainiac is a thing that could have been done down the line. You never know. If and what Snyder did with the first five arc worked out well and everything, you never know if he could have maybe ended it on a Brainiac. But
He
at
could
the
have been the
same
biggest
time,
bad.
exactly, it never really grew or ever got to that point with Superman where he even got close to Brainiac. Even with the first Superman films, Superman 1 and 2, after Zod, they just started making shit up. Let's be honest. And people can lie about it all they really want. But they just tossed nonsense into Superman 3 and 4. They created Nuclear Man when they had literally a whole slew of lists of villains that they could have used. They created some bullshit ass villain.
Nuclear freaking man with the voice
And
of
that
Gene
really just
Hackman.
shows you how Like you feel what I mean? What they
Heck no.
Nuclear Man is the representation of what they feel, what they felt about the Superman IP at the time. And dare I hate to say it, they was treating it like propaganda.
Mm.
Hate to say it, but they were treating it like propaganda. And Superman 4 is just representative of that. That they decided to skip over all these villains. They overused Lex Luthor and created a dude literally called Nuclear Man.
Ugh.
And people wonder why Superman fans have this big issue. You feel what I mean? As far as the whole, as I call it, the Superman curse. That's what I like to call it, the
Mm.
Superman curse. Like Superman cannot get a break no matter what, because he's Superman. You know what I mean? Like like I said, it's a constant battle of, you feel me, people wanting to keep it with that ideal of what Superman is in the Christopher Reeve films, and the people that are just want to move on in any damn direction at this point. Like, it's actually kind of getting out of hand. And there's still a lot of people that want to stick with Cavill. I feel there is,
I
but
think even Cavill wants to stick with Cavill.
even past that, it's like, if it's gonna be Cavill, but if it's gonna be Cavill, but a Reeves-esque version of Cavill, are people gonna want that?
I don't think so.
And it is becoming an issue. I'm not gonna lie, because this has been going on for a while. It's with Superman as a character, and like I said, people are gonna get mad that I just compared the Superman films to propaganda, but
No, but in a way, he kind of
it
was,
kind of was.
because
Because
the film version
if you
is off the
want me to
first
tell a
watered
real
down.
truth,
Mm.
they make it seem like the Superman films like are so lauded in American society, American pop culture. Black Americans don't really like the old Superman films like that at all. Actually, a good amount of them hate it. They think it's whack as hell. And aren't Black Americans? Don't they kind of Americans? A good amount of them, especially back then when those films came out.
Mhm.
They didn't like those films. You feel me? Like, that's why Superman never really even popped like that back then. Yeah, it popped in white America. They was off it, but as far as, you feel me, like, it taking America by storm, no. That's why they put Richard Pryor in what, Superman 3?
Mhm. He was in Superman 3. Yeah.
Because they knew it wasn't working. They knew, they're like, yeah, we need more. We pretty much need more of an audience. That's really what it came down to. Like nowadays, people hate to say it, but today's Superman is way more relevant.
Oh, I don't hate to say it at all. And I see all those.
I said people do, not you, but a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
people that
yeah,
do
yeah.
hate to say it.
No,
It's
that's
way
true.
more
That's
relevant.
true.
He relates to way more people, and he's still the same character.
And I wonder if that's definitely another key factor that hurt the whole DCEU too, because I think whatever residual towards that little persona perfection, or that propaganda specific look or take on Superman, carried over towards BVS and even on Batman from it.
Yeah, and that's why people say that Snyder deconstructed Superman when
I
he
don't think he
really
did.
didn't
I think he
do that at
dissected
all.
him.
He didn't really do that either. He just did Superman. He literally just did Superman. He
Well, yeah,
brought
that's what
back
I meant.
Superman,
You know, he showed the
the
inside
old
on the
Superman.
outside.
He
Yeah.
didn't. People say he deconstructed him because they're looking at it from the perspective that he deconstructed him from the perspective of what the Christopher Reeve Superman used to be,
Mm-hmm.
not from what Superman actually is in the comics and other lower mediums. That's where the issue is. They're looking at it like he deconstructed him from what. If you look at it from how Christopher Reeve Superman is, Snyder deconstructed Superman because he gave him feeling and emotion, and he actually showed his origin, and that he cares about stuff, and he's like, you're not just like some invulnerable, always perfect guy. Like, so he just made him a dude. He made him a person. Like, that's deconstruction now. Like goddamn.
Ugh.
Like you read to really think about it. That's the narrative that they're trying to push on it. That it was deconstructed from what Christopher Reeve Superman was. And all the other Supermen that came after him, pretty much since they looked at his Superman, oh, that one was successful. That one was the great one. Even though everyone didn't like him. You feel what I mean? Still. Christopher Reeve was a great dude and everything. But it's fucked up to say it. When dude was fighting for stem cell research, how many people stood with him? Not many. Okay, so that really just shows how much people really love Christopher Reeve. You feel what I mean?
Yeah,
It was
that
like he
stuff
was
hurts,
Superman.
man.
That's why Eminem was clowning him in the past. It wasn't that he was clowning him. He was clowning the idea that people came up like they really, really cared about this guy and fucked with this guy. But as soon as he couldn't walk no more and he wasn't Superman, they stopped caring. They stopped giving a shit about him completely, pretty much.
Yeah, he pretty much vanished from the pop culture eye and care and respect.
And 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 even though he played a reputable character, he had a reputable name. You know, like when he backed something that can help people in his position, did people get behind him? No, they clowned him. I was around back then. They clowned him for it. They clowned him, said he was a weirdo, said he was trying to feel me work on mumbo jumbo, and South Park made that episode where he was sucking the the blood out of babies and all this other shit.
Wow. I did not see that episode or know about that. I don't always watch all of South Park, but I know their antics.
Yeah, so I do very much look at it as hypocritical because and it still doesn't even really make any sense either because you can't base it off his character and make it seem like his character, well, his interpretation was the end all be all when all the interpretations that were pulled from him didn't work, and even his last two films didn't work. And we're not going to say it's because of him, but we have to examine why. And the reason why, in my opinion, is because for one, they were B movies. Two, they were corny. They weren't real. They kind of were like propaganda. Like they only really related to the whitest of white people.
Hmm.
Like even Star Wars wasn't that white. Come on. Like,
That's a good point. Uh, wow.
so, and then you wanna bring that back, but they already did that. Superman Returns, and it suffers from kind of the same problems.
Hmm. That's right. Even you could tell with the side characters, like even like that goon in I don't know if that's the right word, or that criminal in the opening of Justice League, I should say. Where that guy looks like that typical type of propaganda type of casting. Like it's so phony and fake, and
Oh,
it's
look,
just
it's a criminal. What's he doing? Oh, it doesn't matter. You
what
think
the
he's
heck
gonna
was
get
that?
away?
From
But Batman's
space.
here.
He's really gone, huh? Who? Superman. We're all alone. Like, that's a criminal? Okay.
But even going beyond that, like to finish it up, really, people complain that they nowadays like, oh yeah, we want a Superman, that does more, that you know tackles his issues, and he go when some dude said Lex realizes that Superman is stronger than him and his plan is foiled, and bad people are like, yo, that have this all these things happened already in Man of Steel and BVS. Like you all
Mm-hmm.
got mad that he even did all these things in the film, even like when it came to Batman and BVS. People was talking all that nonsense about, oh yeah, man, technically Batman's on some bullshit. He be beating up poor people, and he's billionaire. He really could just be, funding organizations of nonprofits to help society and giving it to charity, and building hostels and all these things for the homeless and doing all this stuff. But instead, he just beats up people in the hood all day. but they don't even acknowledge this fact that that's literally what Bruce Wayne does all day. That's literally what the Wayne Foundation was about and was built upon.
Damn.
Like that's literally what they do. They're there. They're probably in the comic sense, the Waynes are supposed to be the half a percent that actually is good within the 1%. The actual 1% is actually not doing some good. It's not trying to fuck you over. You feel me? And in this real world, that doesn't really kind of even exist in some senses. But in Gotham, it did. In DC, it does. And that's what the Wayne think. What do these motherfuckers just really think he's just a billionaire sitting on his ass and that's it? But even beyond that, in BVS, Snyder even still acknowledges that. Snyder still even acknowledges how Batman is on some bullshit. He is a criminal. He be running around beating the shit, brutalizing motherfuckers
Mm-hmm.
for no real good reason other than, you feel me, like he has his own issues. You feel what I mean? And he clearly has severe anger problems. So in these
Yes.
altercations, he's definitely gonna take it out on somebody. The people in the hood are scared of that motherfucker. Superman went to the hood and they were scared. They were like, "Oh, the Batman, yeah, he's mean. Like he be fucking shit up." He didn't sugarcoat it, and did people accept it? Like, "Oh yeah, that's real. That's the truth. That's what it is." No, they're like, "Oh man, his one rule. Why isn't Batman, you feel me, this perfect way he's supposed to be?" As if
Yeah.
as if we didn't just get 3 movies of the most non-Batman Batman we ever had.
While he's killing people casually, no one says shit. Like in the
It's
Nolan
like,
films, the Burton ones, and all that. Like he's done this before. That's why I think.
but it's not even about it really him killing either. It's
Mm-hmm.
really about the fact that he's not really Batmanish like that. Like Bale ain't really he ain't the one, man.
Nah, he's
His
not.
films is not the one. His Batman films are watered down. People can get mad all they want and say, "Oh, realism." I don't care. I'm tired of people thinking that the world is so mundane that the only way to present realism is by showing how mundane the damn world is. The world ain't that mundane. You feel that there's way that there's a lot of ways you can make sense of a lot of these fantastical things in comics, and to the point where these motherfuckers don't even try anymore. Nolan didn't even try. It's like Joker just put some face paint on him. Bane just put a mask on. He didn't even want to get Scarecrow a mask at all.
He
Come
just
on.
always took it off.
Lucius Fox did everything. Lucius Fox and Alfred did everything for Batman. Everything.
even even Alfred, what he knew about the what happened at the end of the League of Shadows of how like Bane was excommunicated or whatever. How did he know about that when he never knew about them from the beginning, training with Bruce? It's like, and then he gets this
Like, huh?
information and tips Bruce on that.
Like, the Nolan films, they stand on their in their own right. No one's gonna play them out and say how they dog Snyder's film, like, "Oh, it's straight garbage. It's this, it's that." And all because of comic accuracy. It's not like the
Mm,
comics that I like, or it's not like Chris Reeves. Like, I can do that all day. I can do that all day with the Nolan films. I can do that to my last day on Earth, all day, every day, and every time my reasons would stand.
uh,
But that's some bullshit though. Like, you feel me? Because he did his thing. People enjoyed it. You feel me? I got some enjoyment out of it. We moved past it.
mm,
That wasn't the end all be all of Batman. And neither was Ben Affleck's in a sense. When Ben Affleck did what he was
he's
gonna do
gonna
it, get
pass
his
the
send
torch.
off, and he was gonna pass the torch. You know, like, but with Superman, it's just not the same thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, because no one really cares. They just see who's gonna do it. Okay, and yeah, they still just think it's just Reeves sometimes. But I want to back it up a bit. There are some good things by using Superman, because like let's say he's the one that connects with white people, let's say, right? Then when he goes up against the KKK and says they're wrong, then people of that demographic start listening. Like, oh crap, it is wrong because Superman is against it. You should think about
Yeah,
that. I mean, there's some good stuff you could use with that motif, even though it's a sign of the times, which is probably propaganda as hell with all that monochromatic setting. But I think the goodness, the idea of the character prevailed beyond that setting, and I think Zack Snyder's the first guy to really utilize that and make it hit home, you know,
yeah,
cinematically.
I would agree. I think that I definitely think that Snyder, obviously he's seen the original Superman film, so he pulled a little from it. Like, and why wouldn't you? Because at the end of the day, it's Superman, and
Mm-hmm.
those films still kind of give you know a road of an idea of what a Superman film should be like. But even past that, the first Superman film could have been very differently, and it could have affected films and comic book films in a very different way. Like people, we still within those films, as good as Christopher Reeves was, we still got a watered down Superman. Like that
Yeah.
Superman was based off of the Superman that they gave people when they watered down comics,
Mm-hmm. The
and
was
people can
it the
keep
Comic
lying to
Association
themselves.
Code?
Yeah, people can keep lying to themselves and say that, oh, that's not the reason,
No,
but
it
it
is.
is.
Because then they start
When
having the
they
goofy comic
ultimately brought
spreads.
Superman to screen again, they gave you the one that they watered down from the
Mm-hmm.
past. When
It's,
before that, Superman was pretty much the shit.
yeah.
He damn near didn't even talk. He just went around whooping fucking ass, saving people, looking cool. He wasn't a dork like that. He wasn't even a dork, like pretty much. He just had glasses.
Mm-hmm. That's all. That's all.
like,
He even
like
beat a guy
like
for being abusive to his own wife, and he beat the guy into submission and to apologizing to his wife and saying he wouldn't do it again. That's like, that's cool. Because me as a kid, no one could overpower my father, so we were just, we just hope we don't get hurt. No one could overpower him. So seeing a story like that just, made me like the guy a
yeah,
whole lot more. Because I was like, yeah, stand up for yourself or stand up for the people who can't stand up for themselves.
champion of the oppressed.
hmm
And
That's my Superman. Granted, he could have a code, of course. That comes with maturity and experience. But the core sense of how he cares and protects people is very vital.
but I think what Snyder did, that when it came to Donner, that he dropped the ball at, in my opinion, is that Snyder did a way better job at really putting you in kind of Superman's shoes in a sense, and giving you a good understanding of what he actually went through, and like the ramifications of not only like the things that happened, from where he's from on Krypton, but how that all resonated through his life and followed him all the way to Earth, in all different senses, like
And we found out
metaphorically,
about,
physically, literally. Like,
yeah,
and in that way, he was able to get a lot more people that were outside that, you feel me, that congregation of people, all the people that just assess over the Reeve stuff, into Superman, and even again, he was able to even get people that from all different walks of life around the world to be like, you know what, I finally get Superman. Before I didn't get it, and now and that's what people don't get, is that whether they love it or hate it, or even love or hate what I'm gonna say, that the first Superman film, or the first two Superman films, when those came out, and even when people watched them, not everyone got it. I'm trying to tell you,
hmm
and they didn't. What the part that they didn't get was the Superman part. To a lot of people, just was looked at it like, huh, like this is boring. what is this? They just because it was really only it was made for a certain sensibility, and that's why I say you feel me when they that's why I brought up Black America as an example of like when those films came out, those just were only lauded in really one side of America. Why didn't Black Americans fuck with it like that? Because to be totally honest, a lot of the motherfuckers didn't get it outside the fact that he's Superman. That's all they really probably understood about. Like, all right, he's Superman. He saved the stuff. They didn't really understand his origin. The depths of his background. Why him being on Earth is so important. You feel what I mean? Like,
Right.
being that his world wasn't as progressive. And they were very strict minded when it came to certain things. Like, they didn't go into any of that, you feel me, as him as a character at all. It was just like, all right, here's Superman. He was raised on a farm, white bread, white bread, white bread. Watch him save all these people falling from buildings, Lois Lane, da 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 da. Zod comes, they tussle a little bit. He throws him down a tube, the end. Well, I'm going over both film, by the way, Superman 1 and 2.
Yeah, I
Like,
noticed. I got you.
in the Snyder's films, he just does a way better job of really laying out Superman. It starts, this is Krypton. This is what's happening. This is Jor-El. This is the Council. They're fucking up. That's Zod. He's not off it. He's taking over. Jor-El's like, fuck it. He's going for the last ditch. You know what I mean? He succeeds. He makes it to the crib. He had the son. That son is Superman. Tells his wife, we're going to save him. I know what planet. We're going to send it there. But my baby, don't worry. He'll be a god to them. So she's like, all right. Like, okay. You feel what I mean? Like, he's giving you all this. It's just he's just laying it out for you. Like, you feel like Zod comes.
Details.
Superman's in the
Heavy
shit.
Details. These
Heavy detail.
Decisions upon decisions.
Like my son is the first natural birth in Krypton history. Heresy. Give me the codex. They start fighting. Zod gets his ass whooped. You feel me? Superman leaves in the ship. You feel me? Zod's mad. He stabs Jor-El. He's dead.
Strong,
she's starting
man.
to get it now. That was a serious because you can see from the beginning when they had that little spat like, oh. So what did he say at that classic line? So what? Who decides what good? Who deems what bloodlines are worthy? You? And then that's when you can tell, like, oh man, they're having a philosophical battle, a difference that's gonna come to a head, and it did in that moment. Zod acted in anger and in rage. It's gonna come back to that later in the film too. It does.
Wow.
But like I said, he keeps going. You feel me? Superman, he's going. He's in space. He flies back to spaceship. He's going. He's in space now. They capture Zod. He's Saudi. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna find him. He's talking all this good shit. He spits at Superman's mom like, oh, you ain't shit. They send him to the Phantom Zone. You see the Phantom Zone, so you have an idea of like everything. Like it's like, all right, this guy's on some bullshit. He killed Superman's dad. Superman's dad wasn't that bad guy. It seemed like he was trying to save Krypton, even though he clearly didn't have enough time. Planet was exploded and shit. Okay, that's kind of crazy. What happens next? What happens next is Superman on Earth. You feel me? Now he's a baby. You get to see. And then you skip to him. What on that boat.
Mm-hmm.
So even just right there alone is giving you a better understanding of who this motherfucker is. Just off
In
that.
all aspects of his life, as he's trying to figure himself out, we too are there in the same seat. Like, we don't find out the politics of Krypton until Superman finds out about the politics of Krypton.
Yep.
That's
And,
immersive.
like,
That's relatable to me.
It's more than relatable.
It's informative.
It just gives people understanding, man. That when people have that understanding, then they can relate.
It's true.
Once it gets deeper on that level, what do people think? Like, what if that was my people? What if that was my family?
What would I do?
What if I was Superman on Earth? If I was that kid? Struggling with that, you feel me? Knowing I could, They're not even knowing what I could do. And then even getting even older, like, all right, knowing being bullied and knowing I can uppercut this kid's head right off. You feel me? Like, and I gotta let him sit there and fucking spit in my face and give me wedgies and shit.
Damn.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
deep thoughts. Like, you know, how long would you hold out? And then even past that, and then people wonder why it's like, oh, why did Jonathan Kent have to die? Because by his father instilling all that stuff in him and then dying, that'll make a person hold to their convictions even stronger. By him passing away the way he did, Clark held to his convictions of what his father taught him even stronger. And like people say, well, what he kind of told him may have not been right. Well, it's not fucking about that. Because obviously he gets to that point when he meets Lois. How he was hiding he was a grown ass man at that point.
Mm-hmm.
When Lois found, he could have been saving people, playing Superman the whole time if he wanted to. Why wasn't he? Because he was still stuck off of losing his pops. That's all it came down to. He was
Mm-hmm.
still stuck off of losing his pops and what his pops taught him when he was oh so young. You feel what I mean? And in a way he didn't want to let him down. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he didn't. He,
It's
he
true.
found he found he found his purpose and what he was supposed to be doing, and found his people, found his shit. You feel me? Before things even hit the fan like that. But it's like this idea that people have that they wanted him to save his pops and then just become Superman right after that. Like, with what consequence, really? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like what proof did he really have? And that even goes even further past that in the film when he's in the church with the priest and the priest tells them what? You gotta take a leap of faith. Like, all these things were kind of lined up perfectly in this sense. Like, and
It was
I
like a
don't,
domino effect of choices.
exactly. It's like people definitely miss that part about it. It's like, oh yeah, he's in hiding, and why didn't he just Superman it up? Why didn't he save his dad? Like, were you not paying attention to what his pops was telling him that
The
whole
gravity
time?
of it, the weight, the importance of it.
Like, that's why he went so long without revealing himself, because his father exactly instilled the weight of what that meant to him. Well, not to him, but what that meant on the world. You know what I mean? Period.
That could have been when he
And
bounced
he
too.
and he was right. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
man, if you want to just be on some regular shit, because it's being used, we can just say like, honestly, man, you can't just be running around flying, saving, doing whatever you want. People
Mm-hmm.
see you doing that shit. The government gonna take you. You don't know what the fuck gonna happen. You can't play with other kids like that. You're like super strong. You gotta chill out.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be good though. Don't worry. I got you. I ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
isolate you and none of that. But trust me, like, I know you think you're just some regular kid. You're not. When you're older, you're gonna realize that. That's really all it comes down to. Like, it's like
Mm-hmm.
what did people wanted to say to him? That it's a whole bunch of happy-go-lucky bullshit. That's the truth. That's his pops. You feel what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's yeah,
he's
true.
gonna instill those things. Like, be kind of in a sense, be conservative. You feel what I mean? Like, in a way, you don't want to jump too early, do you?
Right.
If Clark was running around doing the whole Superboy thing, running around in that type of an environment in the universe they had set up around there, like, you saw how fast Lorna Lang snitched on him immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The fat Pete Ross came to his house.
He is a dude. Yeah.
He's at his house with his mom. So
Because that wasn't like that had to have some weight for him to, think back on that to be a highlight because that's like the first time or maybe the
because
only time it hit really
he
hard.
snitched on him too. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. It was all supposed to matter and connect. It was that he was actually literally in a life or death situation. Like, they all should have pretty much died in that bus. If he wasn't a Kryptonian or whatever, they would have all died, first of all.
Hmm.
So with him saving them and everything, it all connects in the sense that it's like, all right, he could have saved them, and they could have just all pretty much, been cool, like, all right, whatever, it don't matter. Maybe that could have went towards more of a Smallville type direction, like what something Smallville already did, and
Hmm.
in the Superboy comics, they already did that. But what really happened though was, in a more realistic sense, is that he fucking saved it. He pushed up the bus and he went back and saved the fat kid and everything, and they snitched immediately. Why? They probably all talked about it amongst themselves. Why? Because that shit was fucking
Hmm.
amazing. What are you
That
talking
was
about?
crazy. They were even
And they're
saying it was
like,
biblical.
yeah, what were they, like 12 or 13 around
Hmm.
that time? They weren't that old. They were pretty young. So it's like they didn't really have no reason not to tell nobody. They could have just opened their mouth like, yo, Kirk did this and it was amazing. They could like, oh, y'all bullshit. Y'all just almost died and shit. And now you saw things. You're just envisioning a miracle. That didn't happen like that, the way you think it happened. But yeah, they told their parents, and some of the parents believed them. That's how you kind of have to kind of really just look at it. Pete Ross told his parents. Lana
Hmm.
Lang told her parents. I think they referenced other parents that were told they were talking about it. And then what were the kids trying to do? Deny,
Because even
deny,
she
deny. Like,
said
oh
something like
man,
the so and so family say seen it too. Or yeah, she said Lana's
yeah.
seen it too. So you
And
definitely know
Martha
they
Kent was trying to
talk.
play it off. She was trying to play it off. Like,
Hmm.
oh no, we don't know what you mean, Clark. Cause he just be chilling. He's a regular boy. What? Martha Kent like what?
She's like, I think
Not
you
my
guys are a little
son.
crazy.
Yeah. Like, cause she know, like, she's not gonna be like, oh yeah, that was that. It's like, what? You gonna just tell? Like, no. So then they're gonna tell everybody in the other town, and then so you're gonna have all these country bumpkins coming over here. What wanted to see the magical Superboy and shit, the amazing Superboy, like. And then what's gonna happen after that? The government's gonna come. So
Hmm. It's gonna be like, ooh, they're gonna take your
there's
kid.
no way the government isn't gonna come. Pretty much, like. But
Ah, wow. So then,
past that,
yeah, the relevance of Superman. So,
Superman is even still relevant, man. So, but even since before we hop off the subject, I guess we should talk about too of is Superman going to stay relevant, and what will help him remain relevant? Ah, ah,
you heard me.
ah.
I see an answer, and it's called release the Snyder cut. Hmm.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, release the Snyder cut, put Zach back on track, and then bam, go back on track with Zach, and bam.
So there wouldn't be anything non-Snyder cut related or non-Zack Snyder related involving Superman that you would be into.
Nope. Not at this point in time when these guys are at the top of their game. Not at this time when these guys are so ready. I don't want to see them just like wait around till they lose the opportunity and he's too old and they're like, well, let's do it now. Or even they
Yeah, I
even
feel you.
trying because they know that when uh, the little rumor that Henry Cavill wasn't going to be Superman, or he was in talks with Warner Brothers, and for some reason it broke the internet, and he did that little video with the little dogs barking, or whatever, and he's holding the Superman action figure up and pulls it down. So, it's all ambiguous, cryptic as fuck, whatever. I don't even know how to take that.
Yeah,
I was
that
so
was lame.
it confused me so much that I wasn't even worried anymore. I was too busy being like, what the fuck is that? But anyways, that's how big it is when people heard that he possibly cannot be Superman again. So I think some people are still trying to test the waters with that, maybe, just so they can see if they are free or it's acceptable to do another Superman. Should they reboot Superman? Should they just do another Superman movie again? Just have Henry Cavill in it? I don't know. A bunch of Bond films use the same Bond actor and had different directors and directions, but whatever.
But yeah, what do you think? What do you think it'll take to keep Superman relevant without the Snyder Cut?
Without the Snyder Cut, they would just have to do a
Pipe,
whole new movie. But
it's a pipe dream.
nah, it's
Think
not
it's
a
a
pipe
pipe
dream.
dream.
I think people. I just think people are cowards to venture off and try and because here's the thing: a lot of these companies want to please everybody, and we've already
hmm
seen gatekeeping and other stuff and expectations and denials of how Superman should be. So that is so difficult and appealing for a company to get behind because they like to get behind sure things. They're a bunch of cowards. They're not creative enough to think, okay, we're going to make something good and then it's going to create trends. It's going to be a trendsetter. They like to
Yeah,
chase what the trend is and try and steer it just a little bit, but they are thirsty to stay relevant and on with trends. So Superman being
studio.
already uh, uh, such a unique topic just by being himself, that's too in depth for them to handle and to commercialize. Except people like Zack Snyder, who have an actual vision. That's honorary to the soul of the character, I feel.
Mm. Well said, Kojay. Well said.
Cool, because I had no idea where I was going. But I just.
No,
There we
it
go.
was. I actually get what you're saying, and I like what you said about studios and creativity, and they love to stick to
Hmm.
sure things. I'm a firm believer that studio execs are like drug dealers or mobsters, gangsters in a sense,
Well,
or
the way they operate.
pretty much just drug dealers, more so. They're actually not even like gangsters or mobsters really, because it's like a drug dealer who that just sticks to the drug that they know because it just sells well and everyone else sells it and it makes
Yeah,
them a
yeah,
lot of
but they
money and
can't
it's
be
like
drug
why switch it
dealers.
up?
Yeah, they can't be
Yeah,
drug dealers
it
because
is
drug dealers are smart. Because drug dealers will see like a
not
demand and
really.
supply it. No?
No, they won't. That's
Oh,
where people get it. That's where people get it fucked up. People think that drug dealers will just go where the demand is. No, they
okay.
won't. A
Well,
coke
I don't
dealer
know.
will just stick to dope. And a dope
Hmm.
dealer will just stick to coke, knowing that they could sell dope and coke at the same time. You feel me? A
Hmm.
weed dealer will sit there and make mad money off weed. You feel what I mean? And somebody could tell him, come up to him like, "Hey, man, I have this new plant that's just as good as weed. You could try moving this." But is he gonna spend his money? You feel what I mean? To invest in a whole new product and see if that works. If he already has a go-to model and system that he knows works, he's not.
Hmm.
Like, and
I see what you mean.
that's the same way execs are. That's why they always go off the model of what whoever did it first. It's like, oh, someone did something new first and it actually worked. It worked. What was it? It was this. Okay, copy that. If it worked for them, then it'll work
Yeah.
for us. That's what drug dealers do. Because drug dealers wait until another drug dealer comes to like, yeah, man, I'm low key fucking with this shit now. That shit getting me mad bread. That shit good deal. Like, oh, word. And then that dude, he's gonna read up on that shit too. They're like, oh man, it worked for him, it
Hmm.
worked for me.
All right, that does make sense. I see it.
Like, that's
I see.
really
I see the
that's really all
connection
it comes
with.
down to.
Yeah, I see the connection now.
And studios just do that over and over again. They just keep repeating the same bullshit until one of
Copy
them
paste.
decides, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start selling fentanyl. Fuck the heroin. I'm just gonna start selling straight fentanyl. And then like, oh, that's never gonna work. That'll never work. And then it just starts working. And then you feel me? All these zombies start popping up everywhere. You feel what I mean? And then the studios are like, oh man, we need to get a piece of that. It worked. And then they all start moving fentanyl. The next you know, fucking Marvel fucking rules all the movie theaters across the universe.
Oh shit, Robbie Downer Jr. on crack. What
Uh,
did you say? Whoa.
that's pretty much what happened. Like you feel me?
Mm.
And it's very apparent because studios saw that Marvel formula, as they like to call it, and they're like, oh yeah, the Marvel formula. Then if we do the same thing with properties we have, then it'll work.
And
which
that
is
is an
like,
actual term.
and why didn't work for any of them now? Because it just didn't work. Like it's like even with certain drug dealers, like they think like yeah, just because this guy got on with the fentanyl doesn't mean that you could be moving in the fentanyl, man. It's kind of do you know the game of fentanyl? Do you know how they're moving it? How this is all working out. Like, are you willing to make a McD's type conveyor belt to push out movies? Come on, man. If you're not really ready to press these films like pills, then you really can't copy. Can't. And that's what I think Hollywood's been doing.
It makes sense because we've seen those type of films, and they have certain beats that the people who are addicted to it, they know the beats coming before they even happen. Like not in a expectation way, but almost like they needed it to happen at the right time, and then they'll get the right response. It's like
Almost like
clockwork.
you've seen this movie before a million times, just under a different name.
And it's too many superheroes being sassy. It's weird.
Cause even think about it, like even the John Wick films. As soon as the John Wick films started coming out, then all of a sudden there's all these fucking John Wick like films coming out. All of a sudden, like these studios
Mm-hmm.
could have been making a new dope action film. But when John Wick come out, then all of a sudden they got the ballerina and they got Anna and they got, you feel me, this and that. All these John Wick like, you feel me, action films coming out now.
Yeah, and they're always named after people or people, the character names.
Like
Like it's like a parent.
it's
It's,
apparent, it's mad obvious. Like
yeah,
so,
it's like they're not trying.
they're not trying. Like even with WB, I thought that's why some people like at WB like they're on some bullshit because they were already about to make a Justice League movie in what 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I think with George Miller, and they pulled the plug like at the last minute for no reason, pretty much just because like they just bitched out. They literally just bitched out. It's like, all right, we're not doing
Oh damn!
it.
Wasn't there one with a made-for-TV one that was all cheesy after-school special with Martian Manhunter and a whole bunch of other
Nah, it was
characters?
the one with Army Hammer as Batman. I think it was pretty much gonna be like it was pretty much gonna be a Justice League movie,
Huh?
like a full like kind of more in the vein of like I guess you can say like and like of an epic, like kind of like Lord of the Rings or something along those lines, or maybe even Dune or something. Like,
That's what I
because it
feel
was
the
gonna
Snyder cut is, man, from the pictures,
because it was
especially
gonna
those
have all
Aquaman ones.
it was gonna have all of them in there. It was gonna, well, yeah, it's gonna have pretty much all the characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter was in it, Flash, Green Lantern. They were all gonna be in it, and yeah, it was definitely gonna happen. And I remember even I read a good amount of what the story was gonna be, and I think there was gonna Batman and Wonder Woman were gonna fall in love in the story, and it was kind of like some. Actually seemed like a pretty dope story from what I remember.
Hmm.
'Cause I think it was supposed to. It seemed like it was gonna be an epic that spanned like a few years, and they were gonna go into space. I forgot who the villain was, but I think it was made by George Miller. It seemed like it was gonna be fucking good. In my opinion, I think if that movie was made, it probably would have been good.
I mean, it
To
sounds
be
great.
honest.
The makings and the
Cause,
director.
Cause I'm thinking that's the same dude that made the Mad Max films and everything. So yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
was they would have definitely been good. And they just bitched out at the last moment, and it really just shows you like that studios and everything they don't really like taking a chance on anything, even when it's like kind of obvious it could be a short thing.
Mm.
Even back then, even before all the Marvel stuff, they were scared to pull the trigger on just a Justice League movie.
Isn't that funny that the thing that they're so scared to do, is the one thing that the audience so desperately wants?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's like some kind of blue ball situation. It's like the dude wants the girl, and the girl's like, "Yeah, I do want to be with you." And he's like, "No," and you're like, and you're the third person watching it, going, "What? It's uh, I don't get it."
It's
It's like
awful.
it's not difficult to figure out that it's okay to go there.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. But moving on past the Superman, because
yeah,
as far as Superman, as far as I feel with Superman staying relevant, it really, at this point, it really does depend on the Snyder Cut and Cavill. The Snyder, my apologies. When
it's
the
all good.
Snyder Cut comes out, it'll definitely give Cavill the push that he needs as the character. And I'm pretty sure Wisher will help him out a little bit too.
Yeah,
But with that being said, it really depends on what Cavill is planning or has up his sleeve when it comes to Superman. Because you already have to look at it that if Cavill was willing to, try to get a project off the ground with Chris McQuarrie and everything involving Superman and all that, then you never know. He may not be he may not be that hyped about working with Snyder again. That's what
mm-hmm.
I'm saying. Like because it's like you don't see him. You didn't really see him since talking about like doing another Snyder Superman film. So
But I think Snyder did reply to some posts on Vero where he expressed, I wish he was that he wishes Cal would be a little bit more on board or something like that. I forget what, but regardless of, I feel that Snyder has a lot of mad love for Cavill and shows that too. It's just that,
oh yeah, I don't doubt that. Of course, I don't doubt that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I just mean as far as what's gonna happen with Superman on screen on the
Mm.
big screen, I should say. And
Okay, I got you.
it really does depend on where the cards lie because depending on what you never know, Cavill might make the right decisions to get him in another Superman role. You never know. He might pull the right strings, but if we're all just gonna put it on him and his team, then I don't know. You can't really just trust it off that.
No,
You
you
know,
can't.
it's like he might get a cameo or something in in the Black Adam film or something, but other than that, like we can't really count on like, oh yeah, his team is just gonna work out a Superman film just because like, oh yeah, they all of a sudden just think Cavill is the shit again. All of a sudden, like WB's on some bullshit, even when it comes to Cavill. So, and like with that, in my opinion, without Snyder in his corner, it's like yeah, it's like it doesn't even seem like it could work. Like maybe it could. I could definitely be wrong. Like of course, because another director could just come on and just be like, all right, another Superman with Cavill. No, no Snyder. All right, why not? But
Hmm.
I don't know. It seems like it seems like Cavill is so much of Snyder's Superman is like they're a duo. I can't even really imagine Cavill outside of that aesthetic. And that's another reason why I wasn't even off JL at all, just the JL Whedon cut, because like the whole aesthetic was off of even how all the characters were introduced and everything prior, especially Superman. Like it was all off, and
It was.
I don't know if Superman can be in a upbeat. Well, Cavill Superman can do an upbeat light role that I'll take seriously and want to be like want to fuck with like that. You know.
I think he could do the role because we saw a bit of that in the Justice League, the upbeat part. But would it be something to fly? I don't think so. I think it's like one of those things that people complain about without really realizing what they're complaining about. Because then when they get it, they get over it really, really quick. So it's like, oh shit, then you didn't really care. Then why'd you complain?
Mm. But yeah, enough about Superman. He'll be alright, I guess. Release the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
But I guess we can talk about, you know,
What was the other thing?
Jay Oliva and Mark Hughes, having a little bit of contact on Twitter. And
That's right.
Jay Oliva says, he talked about how AT&T is the new owner of WB, and they have $150 billion in debt. And he asked the question, do you really think they're going to turn down money for a film they've already paid for from a businessman standpoint?
Mm-hmm.
And he also goes into how the old regime at WB has pretty much been defeated, and there's no nefarious plot apparently, but we can't be 100% sure about that.
Yeah, that could be a plot to protect the plot.
Yeah, so, but he says there's no nefarious plot. But
Mm-hmm.
going on, Mark Hughes responds to him and says, I keep trying to tell these folks that the new owners and this new CEO, new streaming service, movies nobody's seen sitting on the shelf, intense discussion and interest, and big fan base, delicious free money.
Mm.
So I guess you can say these guys are somewhat, from somewhat, they're like a few degrees close to the situation when it comes to the Snyder Cut, and they're pretty much both saying that because I've seen a lot of people bringing this up, but they seem like they just grandstanding off it. Like a lot of people love the grandstand, but it seems like they're pretty much coming out and saying and being more comfortable saying about how the old the old regime, as they call it, is pretty much done for, and all those people are up out of there. And that begs the question: this has to most likely include Toby Emmerich. Now, with this, I just think of a new regime, and I guess there's a new streaming service. But let's take on the new regime part.
All
How do
right.
you think this will benefit Snyder and the Snyder Cut if there are possibly, some execs in play now, as in people in some power now that, you know, that are that fuck with how he's coming, what he's doing,
Like, what do you mean?
like the Snyder Cut, in his films. There's new regime. There's I guess that means new execs.
I
Same
think the
old
new
Snyder.
regime would be delighted to jump on something that's hot and trending and just waiting for someone to be the first one to do it.
Mm.
Because I'd be like, well, looking at it with fresh set of eyes, I wouldn't have any previous stress from the prejudice against Zach or trying to please everybody because they're coming off of that history and trying to figure out that code of what they desperately thought needed fixing, but that was an illusion. There was nothing that needed fixing. And then when they try to fix something that wasn't broke, they destroy it. So they these fresh execs don't have that that experience, that track record of knowing what that feels like from their end. Granted, I believe they were wrong, and I know a lot of us believe they were wrong, but at the time they thought they were right, so they don't have um, that curse of that history to go off of. So they can look at this as fresh eyes, seeing that wow, there are proactive fans behind this. There are a bunch of people who like this and support it. RT Snyder Cut is still growing in popularity, and they have done good stuff with suicide prevention. We're not just crazy people on the side saying, "Hey, remember me? I fought in this Australian-American War." It's like what? We're not like off our rock or anything like that. So I think that would be the smart thing to do. Is like, okay, maybe let's build something in here and see what we could do fresh, because then they're looking for new ideas while they're looking for other new things to invest in. So I think it would be a good opportunity, and the fact that Jay Oliva brought that up encourages more of that faith or that hunch, I think.
So, do you think there's a nefarious plot going on and all that? Or do you think that the nefarious plot has been thwarted?
If there is a plot, I think the plot would have probably changed just to cover the plot. So because I think um, whatever they were going to do hasn't succeeded, and they would just have to adapt it or trash it. But
Mm.
I think they're losing and they know it.
Well, they're clearly losing.
Hmm. So it's probably about ego and pride now, maybe. Unless they decided purposely to surprise us.
Even at this point,
Like, what
I
if they have
definitely
already
think it's going
decided
to
when
be
to
a
release the Snyder
surprise.
Cut?
That would be great. We're just sitting, then we really just be sitting here not knowing that it's incoming, and
I
you
would be
know,
glad to know that they've already made the decision to release it. Like, let's say, I don't know, April 20th. Just guessing, random. But I'm just saying that if they do that, then they're just sitting back watching us get more hype, anger, going, ah, cool, it's getting popular, that's great. Or maybe they're waiting for, like, maybe we'll tell them now.
'cause things are still bubbling. So, and
Mm-hmm.
I do think that they are going to wait till close to a possible release to see it out. I think that the best possibility we could see is maybe close to when HBO Max coming out. We probably could get a new trailer, an announcement that is coming, and maybe an announcement of a limited release in theaters. You know, and then the buzz of that when they pretty much say that it'll it'll knock fandom out the roof, and then they'll just have to play their cards from there.
Mm-hmm. That's my hope. As if they're smart, in my opinion.
But a part of me does feel like, well, I think Grace Randolph was the one that compared this to the Spider-Man, the Disney Sony Spider-Man deal,
Mm.
and a part of me does feel kind of that same way where they could be still negotiating, but if this is definitely gonna happen, it might just be a real sticky situation. It might even be stickier than we think, not even as far as paperwork, but egos and everything. And like people that, like you said, you don't want their fuck ups to be shown and all that.
Mm.
But with that, I do think there's a possibility that a deal could already be done, or at least close to being done. Because if the deal is close to being done or done already, then it could just be prepping release, and I guess you can say fanning the flames a little bit before they do make the official announcement, which would be a good idea.
Mm.
Because to be honest, like, I'm not gonna say I don't want the Snyder cut right now, but as long as it's been, I didn't plan on giving up anyway, so I can wait until, what are they talking about, May or April?
Yeah,
That's when
but
we're
I
gonna
still
get
hope
close
that
to
they get
HBO
out for
Max.
Christmas.
That's not happening. It's
Maybe.
December already.
I just want it to happen. I know, right?
They would have already had to have the Blu-rays ready to go.
Yeah. I did speculate a few dates and it didn't work out yet. So, But
But
December
no,
8th is when Wonder Gal Gadot said she's going to, or they're going to reveal something about
Yeah.
that film or whatever.
Oh.
I saw a little commercial for it on
I usually
Instagram.
have a good sense of gauging things as far as time,
Yeah.
and I I I think right now it's gonna be a little. I don't want to say quiet as in dead quiet, but it's gonna be a little quiet with maybe a little, if you will, like, rumbles for a while. But I think that we're not really gonna start hearing shit again about it, and probably till like the next month or two, for real.
Hmm.
By January, which is pretty much next year at the end of this month, and then February, in my opinion, that is when
Like,
it's just gonna hit. That's when it's just gonna hit the fan and go into high gear again. That's when we're
mm,
gonna start finding out more what's going on, you know, the ins and out. Because right now you gotta look at it like it's still rumblings, even off what we did online with the whole, the anniversary event. That all that stuff is still reverberating. You feel what I mean? Even
mm-hmm.
through, halls where this discussion is important. You know, and that's why I was saying, like, I do keep track of these things. As far as like keeping track of, how much word and how much media and all that is going into like people talking about the Snyder Cut. It's a lot. It's
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Oh, it's a
So
lot.
people don't have to worry about, enough people talking about the Snyder. Just motherfuckers is talking about it for sure. So that means people are talking about it, maybe even in WB right now. Like,
They have to. This stuff
so
is selling itself.
yeah, they are definitely talking about it. So for right now, it might just stay with talking. You feel what I mean? Like,
I mean,
they
that'd be
may be
smart.
trying,
That's like free marketing
yeah,
for them.
they might be trying to iron it out. Whatever, like you said, the deal could be done. They could be trying to iron it out. They could be trying to work on some other things. Maybe it's a bigger deal than we think. Who knows? But I do think by next, like, no point in saying next year, because we all know it's next year. But by the next month or two, we'll know, what's really going on with this, and then more people will say more. But it seems like Snyder is still finishing up Army of the Dead,
Mm-hmm.
and in a way, I don't want to say, it's a little bit of downtime, but it's the holidays, so people are gonna be with their families and doing holiday stuff.
Yeah,
So
people are gonna rest up, and it's even in it's downtime for the studios too, and other productions. Even for my own thing, I go on break for the holidays and
yeah,
be with the family and all that. That makes sense. Then when things pick up
yeah,
again, the beginning
exactly.
of the new
So
year.
the Snyder cut is obviously going to live on, but people are gonna chill out a little bit. Maybe even Snyder himself when it comes to us, as far as the holidays, till the holidays roll around. But then once you get past that January 1st, you feel me? Then we at it again.
Mm-hmm. But I'm still gonna keep posting stuff, and I think there'll be
Oh
some
yeah, of course.
posts,
That has
but
nothing
it's
to
gonna
do with
be
posting and anything. But
it'll just be like
what I'm
regular
trying what I'm
happy
trying to
posts.
say is that there's gonna be a little downtime in between, as far as it's like, cause it's like we just threw a spirit bomb at, like, you feel what I mean, at WB right now. Like, we just hit them with the spirit bomb. You feel what I mean? They're in ruin right now. They're trying to fix things up and get themselves back together. You feel me? So we're just chilling right now, floating in the sky, just
Mm-hmm.
chilling,
It's chill.
seeing what they're gonna do next. Like, is he gonna give us a Snyder cut, or like, and they're planning on it. They're like, all right, goddamn, this motherfucker. They don't know that we have another spirit bomb in us. Like, but it doesn't matter, because if,
Yeah,
if they
more than
don't
one.
cough it up, yeah, we'll just hit them with another one. So that's what you got in a nutshell. think about what they're worried about. Like, how long could they withstand all these damn spirit bombs until we just can completely ruin their shit?
Yeah, because the worst thing that could happen to them is that they ignore us. And come Comic Con, if there's an uproar that they cannot control, that's going to look very bad on them. And any type of power they think they have will dissipate instantly.
And
They can't afford
there's
that.
there's no lamos around anymore to tell people not to go hard about the Snyder cut at Comic Con.
Oh, I remember this year.
But yeah, the next San Diego Comic Con is next year, right?
hmm This year was the one with that Screen Junkies. Who were those condescending
How
fools?
many of those do they have a year? They only have one San Diego Comic, like one count
Yeah,
in
once a
San
year, once a
Diego.
year. Well, they also have
Yeah.
a smaller one, WonderCon, but the main one is San Diego Comic Con.
All right, you want to know, Bob? What I think all this shit will be said and done even by the next Comic Con, man. I
Ooh,
don't even.
that's my
I
hope.
think. Yeah, I think just we're not making it till a third anniversary, in my opinion, because that's just coming out before then.
Smart Money
Like
says,
that.
yeah, my book.
Yeah, this just because shit is coming out in 2020. Like it's not. We're not going all the way over again. And nah, I don't see that happening. To be honest, I think WB's gonna fold before that.
I mean, if they want money, why not? They need it.
That's what I think. There's no. They can't. They can't keep going this long. They think that we can't keep going. Like they don't understand that. All right, we get it. You're a collective of people. You're a corporation, but we're a collective of motherfuckers too. We can do this shit all forever,
Yeah, we're doing this.
pretty much.
See, we're doing this for
We can
free.
we can
They're
we,
trying to
we can
keep their
hand it down
paycheck.
to our children if we want to.
Exactly.
Don't let us get the children involved. Because then once we
Um,
start telling the children, and then they start knowing and remembering, and then they get old, and then you're gonna have generations of motherfuckers asking for the damn Snyder. You don't want it to get that far. Because
nah,
then now
man.
people are already trying to use phrases like mythical and fabled and legendary. Oh, you saying that now? Imagine what they're going to be saying when they say 20 years from now when it comes out, like how the Richard Donner one came out. Like, man, they're gonna think that shit is the damn Bible by then.
Mm-hmm.
The hell? So you don't even want that. Like you better just cough it up now.
Yeah, I mean, the sooner they cough it up, the more they can enjoy the riches from it. Because what they don't understand is that we are not making money doing the Snyder Cut. In fact, we're losing money out of our own damn pockets to promote the Snyder Cut, and we're cool with that. Now, a corporation desperately trying to make money off its supply and demand, all that shit they tell you in business school or whatever, right? All that stuff that they're hunting for, they have a limitation as far as how they could steer everyone in and hold on to making money, while we're losing money and we can do this all day because we're in love. They don't get that.
I wouldn't say we're in love. I just think we're
Shit, I'm
relentless.
in love. I'm in love with that Snyder Cut. I'm gonna keep this forever, man. When that comes out, I'm gonna marry that bitch, and then we're gonna make more Snyder Cuts, and it's gonna be great.
You're gonna make more if you're to fuck the Snyder cut and make more Snyder cuts.
Yeah, man,
I
I'm gonna
would
buy
like
a
to
bunch of
see.
copies.
I would like to see how this experiment turns out.
Well, it's very practical. I use plastic. It's in card form, and I'll just buy some more copies.
So
It's
you
very simple.
you gonna fuck the CD or you gonna fuck
No, I'm just gonna watch
the
it a
case?
bunch. I ain't gonna do anything like procreation
Or
or whatever. That's weird.
you're gonna fuck the screen while you watch it.
Nah, man, that's too flat.
It's gonna be like poking a wall.
Ew. That sounds
Oh,
like
that's
Justice
inappropriate.
League, man. There's no heart and there's no feeling.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
Damn. What the fuck were we just talking about?
the Snyder Cut. There won't be a like a third anniversary.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, well, I'm not saying there won't definitely be a third anniversary, but I don't think it's gonna make it that far. I think it's gonna be out before that, and I think it may even be out before the next San Diego Comic Con. Hope.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. We were on. I don't even want to
And I
call it the
will.
anniversary of it. That's the anniversary of the delay. It's like it's 2 years behind
Yeah,
schedule,
but
man.
it's still the anniversary of the whole
The
movement because
debacle.
it
Hmm.
it
That's
started
true.
on that day, which is pretty good because it shows how fast it came about. It did literally
Hmm.
start on that day. On that day,
It's right.
someone
Everyone
someone
unanimously
hopped on
says
Twitter. I forgot the dude's name and said release the Snyder cut, and people were talking about how garbage it was, and it was born on that day. So I guess you can say,
that is true. You are true. That is the anniversary. That's how old we are. Because unanimously, that day is when people are like something has to happen. The debut of the theatrical. Wow.
yeah.
It
And
only
I
has
think
been.
I think that first year was the most important because and that's when I feel like a lot of people, important people hopped on, and a lot of people got on in that first year. And that's even when I got on. I got on like in the very end of like the first year. I cooked like the last 2 months into like the first year. I think that's when I started, using Twitter and lurking a little bit, and then because I had to figure that shit out. I didn't even know how to use fucking social media like
Yeah, I
that
had it.
before.
I just didn't dive into it as
Yeah,
much to know how to
yeah, I did
navigate. Now
not.
I
I was
understand.
not very Twitter savvy at all.
Hmm.
So I figured that shit out pretty slowly. But like, okay, I get how this is pretty much a giant comment section, and
Hmm.
people just talk bullshit. I get it.
Hmm.
That's why I don't get how people I understand what Twitter is completely. Just a giant comic section where people just talk nonsense and bullshit all day. And people talk about like Twitter is so this and that, but it's like, all right, like I compare it to exactly. It's like, well, what do you think would happen if you logged onto the grid and tried?
Hmm.
You think everybody would just be nice and cool and shit while you're in this digital world where you don't know who anybody is and they can just say whatever the fuck they want to you and do whatever they want to you? Like come on, you gotta at least expect that.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, I at least expected that. Like, I'm like, yeah, I prepared myself for that. I'm like, man, there's gonna be a lot of decay right now. The Irishman saying nah.
You know what? That came out interestingly. It came out in theaters, and then I think 3 or 5 weeks later, it hit Netflix.
Yeah, I actually looked up online a
That's
theater where I could
cool.
have seen the Irishman, and the closest one was in New York, and I was like, no.
Yeah, but
So
what's
that
interesting
was
is
kind of
that
unfortunate.
yeah, what's interesting, it hit theater and then to streaming service. What is the date HBO Max comes out? Isn't like May something?
I don't know, but they've been bringing up the month of May
Okay, so
late a
imagine
lot.
it's May, and if it's a date equivalent to when Irishman, and this is tinfoil hat talking, when Irishman hit theaters, and then it had a certain time where it hit streaming service. Now let's say that April 20th movie is Snyder Cut. That's April, and then somewhere mid-May, that's around the same type of distance between a theatrical release and then going straight to streaming service not too long after. So that could tell me, hopefully, maybe, what if, oh my gosh, I hope, crossing fingers and toes, that they release a Snyder Cut in April, and then it hits their HBO Max a few weeks later, or in May, just like The Irishman did. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility for sure. Oh yeah.
That way, it's definitely on the app. They could promote the app, and then people who are on the fence about Snyder Cut, which get off that fence, people. I don't know why you're wasting time. But if people are on the fence with that, they get time to see the film. So there's intrigue to go to the theater to check it out. And if they love it and they want to see it a bunch, they'll have to get the streaming service.
Yeah. I agree.
So it's like, in a way, it's like, kind of like blackmail to get them on the service, but whatever works, right? And everyone gets what they want. I'm not gonna knock it. Just release the Snyder
'Cause
Cut.
I think at the minimum, Snyder's gonna get a theater release in some form in HBO Max, and I think they may not even put the Justice League's theatrical on HBO Max at all.
If they're smart, they should.
That's another thing I was thinking about too. I think that they might not even put the garbage Justice League on HBO Max. They might just have the Snyder Cut.
Yeah,
You
because
know.
now when BVS is shown on TV, it's the director's cut, the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
They already know. They already know.
Yeah.
And that would be a
So,
good send off because if they're to go a new direction, fine. Just give us the Snyder Cut.
but that's the thing that kind of I'm like,
Yeah?
because in a way they still haven't even really moved that far away from what Snyder was setting up. To be
Yeah,
honest,
like they could still return to the universe.
like what they just because Wonder Woman had a film in the '80s and Aquaman is doing this thing. He's being Aquaman. Like, oh my God, things move too far away. Like, honestly,
Hell no, they didn't get
the
that
shit
far.
going on, the shit going on in this with the Suicide Squad and Harley Quinn had nothing really to do with what was going on with what the Justice League was doing yet. Like, yeah,
It
Bruce
could still line
Wayne
up.
met, yeah, Bruce Wayne met Waller and everything, but they did that shit didn't even come to anything yet. Exactly. So who's to say that all that stuff can't still swing back around?
Oh,
That's what I'm
it could
saying.
totally fit in.
It can
People
is
say it
like
can't. That's weird.
I'm
Unimaginative.
still riding for JL Chill.
All right, all right. I'm down with that too.
People are giving up hope on this, but I think that if Justice League comes out and is banging, I guess the only thing that they can really do is try to reboot Justice League and just do another Justice League that has nothing to do with the Justice League that came out prior at all.
Hmm.
But they can't put out this banging ass Justice League and then be like 3.5 hour Justice League movie and then be like, all right, moving on, we're doing this now. And then it'd be like, huh? So
Mm.
what you're doing next? Is it gonna be? Is it gonna have to do with the JL movie you just gave us? You know, the Snyder cut? Because I don't know. Like if that's good, that
Yeah,
should
that's a
just
good
stick with
movie.
that. And then maybe JL 2 seems a little bit more plausible. Like,
That's true. That's true. Shoot, I'm down with that. And what? What
the
is wrong
Snyder
with
Justice
people
League is
already
looking
being
like it's
fans?
popping. You know,
Right?
so maybe we should greenlight that sequel. You never
Hmm.
know, man. If how are they gonna wrap it up if the Justice League film doesn't wrap up the arcs? They make one or two more films, maybe. Just saying, man.
Hey, that's a good possibility,
People
though.
are too quick to give DC to the birds,
Hmm.
cause and I'll tell you this, cause they haven't been in it as long as I have. I lived through the Nolan trilogy, and I was a child when Batman and Robin came out.
Oh man,
A lot of people
you
don't
know I'm
have the
older than you.
perspective that I have on DC. I
Mm-hmm.
lived through a lot. I remember every time when people try to chalk up DC like, oh man, they're done. These DC movies, Batman, Superman, is not. And it was every time they bounce back
Mm-hmm.
because it's really never about WB. WB, they just own them. It's really about, you feel me? DC can't get their shit together in a sense,
They
and them
can
getting
when.
them getting their shit together can affect the movies for the better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the Snyder cut coming out is the sign is of course it's a sign of DC getting their fucking shit together.
Hell
Snyder
yeah.
cut comes out, Joker just came out. You know, the Snyder cut comes out after that. You never know. You might actually get another worthwhile DC film after that.
Because it's true. We
We
didn't
we've
know
been
we'd get
we've been
Joker sequel.
exactly. We've been getting worthwhile DC films for a while now. Granted, there were some hiccups, but you never count, you feel me, the DC films out. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna have some shit, you feel me, like, but as of right now, they're just in a funk, a big funk. Like, but they still have a few ways to get themselves out of it. And all those ways obviously have to do with releasing the Snyder cut.
Hmm. Every way points to one way, and that one way
But
points to multiple
even
possibilities.
even after that, like I said, JL2, maybe after that they can do something interesting with Green Lantern that has nothing to do with Jeff Johns or something.
That would be
There
nice.
people want to see another, Keanu Reeves Constantine film. Maybe they can see if they can get that off the ground. I don't really give a shit about the Robert Pattinson Batman, but hey, maybe we can get a different Batman.
Yeah, maybe he could just be Terry and do Batman Beyond, and everyone will be happy.
Maybe we can get a Batfleck back.
Mm.
You never know. Maybe you can get Batfleck again.
Yeah, because never doubt the beauty of success of a great loved film.
Yeah, can never doubt it. So keep hope alive, as they say.
Always, always.
Like past that, I can't. I can't really speak on, you know, what the penguins in the boardrooms are talking about.
I can't even understand them. They just go. "Wah, wah, 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 wah."
But I I I'm pretty sure they're gonna be folding up to Snyder.
I hope so because that's the smart thing to do right now. I mean, dude is trending things just by posting a JPEG on his Vero, and then
Because
just by doing
DC
that,
has DC
JPEGs are cheap.
has done a good job with picking their creatives to hop on these films. It's just that WB as a whole, especially when it comes to the top, time and time again, in every single fucking generation, find a way to fuck it up with almost every character. And
And
they're
for
probably going to find
what?
a way to fuck it up with Wonder Woman too, just because they just have to keep it going.
Ugh.
They just
Oh
have to
man.
keep it going. Like, and they fucked it up with Superman in the beginning, back then, and they fucked it up with the Batman movie with Burton. I mean, they fucked it up. Well, Nolan survived. All right, Nolan made it through.
Thank
But he
God.
had to he had to be annoyed of Jeff Johns calling his office and trying to break into his set and all that stuff like that.
uh,
So then, but in a way, you could say they fucked it up because it was like they were so schizo about Batman and Robin that they brought on an ultra realism alter guy to make Batman. That was just like, we're strip away all the comic elements and everything, just bare bones, everything, all that. And people say like, oh yeah, it was just a creative choice. Like, no, motherfucker, it was clearly a response to Batman and Robin. Clearly,
it is.
don't lie to yourself. Don't be a fool. If Batman and Robin didn't go the way it was, we would have been getting more comic accurate, or not even, I don't like saying comic accurate, but more comic like Batman.
Right.
Like Batman '89 and Batman Forever, even though they did go a little overboard with Danny DeVito as the actual Penguin Mutant who should have got an Oscar for that role. But
That was a good role. That was a good role.
a great role.
That freaking
He
gave me
murdered it.
nightmares.
Yes, it did. Great nightmares.
Ugh,
Vivid nightmares.
they did, man. Oh. Ooh.
Danny DeVito still gives me nightmares.
Yeah, man. And I was just watching
Just watching
Always
him
Sunny in
in Always
Philadelphia.
Sunny. Yeah, dude is disgusting. Stuff
Man,
is
did you see that movie
disgusting,
when he
man.
was twins with Arnold? Woo-hoo.
Yeah, like, oh
That was
my.
weird. I was like, man, he's got game and he's sitting with all these women. How? What playbook is he reading?
Anyway, but it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, I don't even know where to end this. Uh,
That's, but yeah, they fucked it up with Snyder again, pretty much. You know, the same thing over and over. They had it going great. They had it going great, and he just fucked it up. You know,
it's true that.
and it is a shame that we have to pretty much relive this like we're going through some type of journey written by George Lucas. where
Wow.
we're just reliving moments in history and that mirror each other like the Force and shit.
Dang, man.
and every generation or so, time and time again, you feel me? The fans take on WB Pictures for fucking up DC comic films.
Oh, man.
and we and we strike at them like Luke destroying the Death Star, and then we think it's all good, and it just starts over again. And we just do the same thing again.
This has to
So
be.
the issue isn't really DC itself, and it never was DC, even though DC is fucking up right now, and other things I'm not gonna go into because I don't even like going mad nerd on for me on the actual comic book side of things and what the actual company is doing, even in the
Oh, I'll
comic
probably
book.
join you on that. I am not happy.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a whole different conversation
Yeah,
for
it's a
another
different
day. But
ballpark. We're not going to do that to you
yeah,
guys.
yeah, we're not. But
Not
they're
today.
fucking up right now. They're not doing that good.
Oh, man.
But it's cool because they're holding in there. They're holding in.
Yeah,
There's
they're
still
hanging
there's
there.
still a, there's still a good decent amount of comics that you can pick up that are
Mm.
okay.
Yeah, morale is. It's something over there. Yeah.
But as far as the films, I think what they need and what fans need is some stability. They need a milk tree. They need Superman.
Yeah. They need
It's like no,
Superman because he's
they
fucking
need Zack
relevant.
Snyder.
They need Zack Snyder because he's consistent and people like consistency and quality. So release a Snyder cut
Yeah.
and we'll go from there. It's almost like their own damn Justice League movie. Like WB is the Flash and the fans are Batman. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I've never really made film before. I just kind of push some ideas and then run away." And then Batman, the fans, looks at me and says, "Release the Snyder cut." Snyder cut? Uh, Okay, and then what? Release the Snyder cut, and then you'll know. And then that's pretty much the truth. And then everything will unfold after that.
Yeah.
WB will turn into a great superhero again. People actually love him since The Matrix. Oh my God, you're trailblazing again. Ah. And then they can make movies without stress. They can be praised. And then they won't have Mickey Mouse slapping them on the butt saying, "Ah, stop that." It'll just be great.
Yeah, all this energy I'm wasting on trying to get the Dan Snyder cut, I could be going in on Disney right now. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
WB understand this? If
They,
I
with
if
us,
I
beat
wasn't if
Frozen
I wasn't
too.
exactly if I wasn't wasting my time fighting this war with you, I could just be taking down Disney for no reason, just for
With
fun.
you. With you. We're doing that for
With
free.
you. We do that for free too. Like fuck them.
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
but like I don't have the time to do that right now because I
Because you're
gotta
trying to
come at
get
your bitch
through to
ass.
them.
Gotta talk to Warner Brothers and come at them. I could be getting on Disney.
Hmm.
Like, I
In
don't
which
want to
they
be
will
sitting
benefit.
here fucking doing sieges against Warner Brothers all the damn time. And Disney's doing some bullshit too. And it's like all you guys got to do is just cough that shit up, and you would have way more people that be ready to put a whole, you feel me, a bunch of bullshit about Disney. We'll talk Disney off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Like fuck them to the end of the earth. But I don't have time. I don't have time to push that type of message.
Uh,
Like, cause I have to stick to the Snyder cut. You know what I'm saying? So I
yeah,
can't.
yeah. Got priorities, man.
Yeah, I got priorities, man. I can't get on my fucking Disney shit right now, or for
Nah,
a
man.
while, really, or ever,
Yeah.
really. Like until this shit is over, with, pretty much. We're like Vikings at war right now.
Yeah, we hungry. We're hungry.
Yeah, like, until this shit is over with, then this is pretty much it. We can't really say what's going to come next.
Yeah. Sheesh.
This could end tomorrow, or this could, you know, it's to go forever, or we can all die, and then, we end up in Valhalla.
Nah, nah, nah. Me and Toothless, we're gonna release a Snyder cut. Don't worry. We'll make it
It was too. From How to Change Your Dragon. Why do I know that? Oh my
because you
god, I
got
hate you.
taste. That shit is gangster.
I did like the first one. I did.
Oh shoot, I like the first one, the special, the series, the second one, and I'm gonna see the third one soon.
Damn, you really like training dragons, huh?
I would like to one day.
One
Yes.
day.
Yeah. But right now, before I get train the dragon, we gotta slay the beast, and we're coming up. Do you want to go some more, or shall we end it now? Because we're getting to our next limit break.
Um,
Just the podcast. We can still talk.
yeah, why not?
All right then. Well,
Let's,
thanks for
let's wrap
listening,
it up
people.
and yeah, make sure you have a good Christmas, New Year's, and all that.
I think we'll do some more episodes before that.
Yeah,
But just in
but
case,
that's
it's there.
but that's really the only time I'm gonna be saying it because I can really give a fuck about either of those
Well, that's very true.
holidays.
You guys have just been blessed with the blessings of the holidays by 44 right now, so don't complain later. You got it. If you missed it, I'm sorry. We will see you guys next episode, I guess, and
Yeah, enjoy your week.
be
Enjoy your
good.
day whenever you're listening to this.
And remember, release the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, motherfuckers.